What if I told you that the students who spend the most time studying physics aren't necessarily the ones getting the highest grades? Research on expert learning shows that top students don't just study harder, they study differently. They ask more questions, make more mistakes, and even spend time trying to explain concepts before they fully understand them. So if you've been rereading your notes, memorizing formulas, and still feeling like physics makes no sense, this video might completely change the way you study. Tip 1. Stop memorizing formulas. Understand the why. Have you ever looked at a physics formula sheet and thought, there's no way I can memorize all of this? Here's the good news. The best physics students don't memorize formulas. First, they understand why they exist. Think about pushing an empty shopping cart versus a full one. The full cart is harder to move, right? That's Newton's second law. In real life, heavier objects need more force to accelerate. The formula F equals ma isn't random. It's simply describing something you've already experienced. So whenever you learn a new formula, ask yourself 3 questions. What does it mean? Why does it work? Where can I see it in real life? Physics becomes much easier when formulas turn into stories instead of symbols. Tip 2. Connect every concept to real life. Physics is literally happening around you every second. Friction helps you walk. Gravity keeps you on Earth. Momentum is why a cricket bat can send a ball flying. The brain remembers ideas much better when they're connected to real experiences. So instead of memorizing definitions, ask yourself, where have I seen this before? Studying circular motion? Think about riding a merry-go-round. Learning refraction. Think about a rainbow after rain. Learning energy. Think about a roller coaster going up and down. The more connections you make between physics and real life, the less it feels like a school subject, and the more it feels like a way of understanding the world. Solve physics problems like a detective. One of the biggest mistakes students make is jumping straight to the formula. Instead, solve every physics question like a detective solving a mystery. Before writing anything, ask yourself what information is given. What am I trying to find? Which concept applies here? Only then should you choose a formula. For example, if a car starts from rest and accelerates, don't immediately use an equation. First, identify the known values and think about what's actually happening. This trains your brain to recognize patterns instead of memorizing solutions. Over time, you'll stop guessing formulas and start understanding exactly when and why to use them. That's what separates students who understand physics from students who only memorize it. Don't be afraid to get questions wrong. Here's something surprising: making mistakes can actually help you learn physics better. Learning scientists call this the generation effect. When you try to solve a problem before looking at the answer, your brain becomes much more engaged. Even if your answer is wrong, you're more likely to remember the correct solution afterward. So don't skip difficult questions just because they seem hard. Attempt every problem first. Think through it, and only then check the solution. Every mistake shows you exactly what you need to improve. In physics, getting stuck isn't proof that you're bad at the subject. It's often the moment your brain is learning the most. Learn physics in layers. Trying to master an entire chapter in one sitting is one of the fastest ways to feel overwhelmed. Instead, learn physics in layers. First, understand the main idea without worrying about formulas. Next, learn what each formula means. Then solve a few easy questions before moving on to harder ones. Finally, test yourself without looking at your notes. This method follows how your brain naturally builds knowledge and prevents information overload. Remember, strong understanding isn't built in one study session. It's built step by step. Learning in layers makes physics feel much less stressful and helps you remember concepts for much longer. Teach physics like you're a YouTuber. The fastest way to find out if you truly understand a topic is to teach it. After studying a chapter, pretend you're making a YouTube video or explaining it to a younger sibling. Can you explain Newton's laws or electricity in simple words without reading your notes? If not, that's okay. It simply shows what you need to review. Scientists call this the protégé effect. We learn information better when we expect to teach it. At the end of every study session, spend just 5 minutes explaining the topic out loud. If you can teach it clearly, you're much more likely to remember it during your exam. That's when physics changes from memorization into real understanding. Physics isn't a subject that rewards memorization, it rewards understanding. If you remember just one thing from this video, let it be this: don't ask, how do I memorize this? Ask, why does this happen? That one shift can completely change the way you study. Let's quickly recap the 7 tips. Understand the why, not just the formula. Connect every concept to real life. Draw diagrams and visualize ideas. Solve problems like a detective. Don't fear mistakes, they help you learn. Learn topics in layers, one step at a time. Teach what you learn to test your understanding. Remember, even the best physics students weren't born good at physics. They simply learned how to learn it.